But just we probably talked about this in both videos so far, but just to reiterate, we're all, again, if it's true that life is infinite, if it's true that consciousness is also infinite, um, then there's infinite information out there. So there's no way that any of us is going to be adequately informed in pursuing all streams of information. So it's not a it's not a detriment. It's not we're not trying to slander people by saying, oh, they just rely on experts. Like you're always going to outsource some to someone else who's an expert in that thing. The issue comes in when conclusions start to be challenged and someone's trying to portray counter evidence, and the response is, no, 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 no. I know what I already believe because my expert told me so. Then it's like, okay, you should be looking for your experts to give you explanations. Anyways, you should be looking for the expert explanations from the experts, not just their word for it. And then if you have expert explanations, then someone offers you an explanation, you should be able to see how they line up.
Yeah,
But
that's
but
how it should be.
right, but even then, we're not going to do it perfectly. We're all going to have our blind spots and that sort of stuff. So it's not meant to be insulting or degrading. Like this is just the world we live in, and there's difficulty in it, and there's misunderstanding and that sort of stuff. But I think especially when you're sitting down like this and if someone who's listening to this is clearly interested in ideas, dare say they're some level of intellectual, then if you're an intellectual, I think you have to hold yourself to intellectual standards when it comes to contentious issues, and especially when it comes to your level of confidence. If you want to say, that's all probably not true, honestly, I'm not going to look into it. I don't have the time. Fair enough. I think it'd be worth your time. But if you're not going to make that decision, you're just like, you haven't convinced me. Maybe there's a better argument. If you're not rude and dismissive and pushing, is like, no, no, only my view is really acceptable. Yours is unsupported nonsense. That's fine. Some people are going to be like that. They're not going to. No, none of us are going to go into absolutely everything and get the right views on everything exactly sorted out, rigorously determined, all that sort of stuff. But if you're an intellectual, if you're interested in ideas, and you're interested about being right, as a lot of us are, um, and you go into a field where you haven't looked into it yourself, you're just using secondhand information, and especially if you notice that information is not in the form of explanations, it's just in authority and clout, and then you start being the more or less aggressor, and you say, no, 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 you can't believe any of that. That's not real. That's not science. And you start asserting all these things very confidently. That's when it becomes the bad kind of dogma, where you're like, you're really confident in this. You're really trying to push your position, but you really don't have a position of your own to push, and you're not looking into the counter evidence. And that's the whole point of science. So if you want to claim the mantle of science and intellectual, you got to play by the rules, and you got to hold yourself to those standards.
I think that's the one of the biggest problems that we face today.